Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Saturday the 3rd of February 2024. In today's Millwall news, it was match day, so we have the match report from our 1-0 defeat away at Hull City. This is the match report from millwallsc.co.uk, the club's official website. Millwall suffer slender defeat to Hull City. Hull City defeated Millwall 1-0 in the Sky Bet Championship on Saturday afternoon. Jayden Philogene early goal settled matters at the MKM Stadium despite a much improved second half performance from the Lions in Yorkshire. Head coach Joe Edwards made 5 changes to his starting 11 for the visit to the Tigers, as Murray Wallace, George Saville, Casper Knorr, Duncan Watmore and Michael Obafemi for his first line start came in at the expense of Joe Bryan, Billy Mitchell, George Honeyman and the injured duo of Ryan Longman, also ineligible because that obviously he's on loan from Hull, and Kevin Nisbet. More on that later. Kevin Nisbet was been completely dropped, wasn't he? The home side started the stronger and took the lead with only 5 minutes on the clock. A poor piece of defensive play allowed Anas Zori to cannon an effort off the crossbar, with the rebound falling straight to the feet of Jayden, the attacker firing past Arteja Sarkic from the edge of the penalty area. That doesn't really tell the whole story, because the whole story would be, I think, a bit more damning until the Joe Edwards style. We were fucking around, passing it around to the side of the D. Under pressure, Tanganga tries to pass it to someone. It gets half intercepted, flies up into the air. Luckily for Wes Harding, and what does he do? He tries to get another passing move going by doing a soft header back to Tanganga, who's just lost the ball. And that gets intercepted, and that leads to the shot that hits the crossbar, which then leads to the goal. With us pissing around, passing it around at the back by the D, which is not what you do. You don't do that. And it's alright doing all this passing, but you can't do it around your own area. That's just stupid. And there needs to be a time that literally, like, Tanganga just got caught, don't just pass it back to him. There needs to be, okay, now we're going to stop passing it and I'm going to boot it up the pitch, and that's it. Like, don't just keep doing the same thing over and over. But hey, the Lions then attempted to settle into the game and managed to force a corner kick, but to no avail, before quick thinking from Sarkic had to see the goalkeeper divert the ball away from the on-rushing attack just yards from an empty net. Hull continued to dominate possession as the first half wore on, but were unable to penetrate a more solid Millwall backline. A lofted free kick from Saville at the other end saw former Millwall goalkeeper Ryan also rush out to collect, with the Tigers stopper just able to claim the ball ahead of Jake Cooper and Japhet Tanganga, who were rushing in to nod into the net. Millwall looked to catch the hosts on the break as the half came to a close, but the Tigers went in ahead at the break. Bradshaw replaced Obafemi at half-time, and it was the striker who led the Lions' first attack of the second half on the counter, but after he passed to Watmore, who fed Wallace, the left-back shot was blocked by the Hull defence. Joe Bryan and ex-Hull man Honeyman were introduced into the play on the hour mark, replacing Wallace and Saville, and with the home crowd beginning to grow restless, the Lions needed to up the ante. They almost found the equaliser on 69 minutes, but after Fleming saw Allsop off the line, his chip landed on the roof of the net. Romain Esse on as a substitute then saw his cross flick towards goal by Bradshaw, but it went wide. And when Millwall continued to move forward in the latter stages, the game hung in the balance. Bradshaw did well to cross from the right in 4 minutes of stoppage time, but to no Mill man was there to finish off the move. There was time for one more chance, and again it was Bradshaw at the forefront, but the Welshman's left-footed attempt was saved by Allsop. And the team was as follows: Sarkic, Tanganga, Harding, Cooper, Norton, Cuffy, Saville, Knorr, Wallace, Obafemi, Watmore, Fleming, and the subs were McNamara on 67 minutes for Norton Cuffy, Honeyman on for Saville on 59 minutes, Bryan on for Murray Wallace on the 59th minute, and Bradshaw on a half time for Obafemi. I think that was planned. I think we're read a story about how that was planned, that it was not due to injury. He's not injured already, hopefully, fingers crossed. Watmore, essay on for Watmore, 67 minutes, and the unused substitutes will be Biakovsky, Hutchinson, Mitchell, and Campbell. So there you go. Let's pull up the match stats if we can. 665 travelling Millwall fans. Now on to the post-match comments. This from southwarknews.co.uk. We got lured into playing into playing a total football game. Millwall boss reveals his frustration with the execution of the game plan against Hull. Joe Edwards thinks his side could have played with more variety. So he's then blaming the players for passing it around too much. You're doing it too much. That's what it sounds like. Joe Edwards believes his side were lured into playing a total football game, whatever that means. During their 1-0 defeat against Hull, Jayden Philogene gave the Tigers a lead at the MKM Stadium during a first half that was also notable for the amount of times Millwall gave away the ball, particularly in defensive areas when they tried to play out from the back. Edwards thinks his side improved throughout the game, but was critical for his players for relying too heavily on one style to move the ball forward. Speaking after the 1-0 defeat, the Lions boss said, "You have to stay strong, and to be honest, I was quite disappointed that we got lured into playing a total football game. They were making a lot of short passes. They got a team that are built for that. We're a lot of technical players, so the ball was moving around very quickly and short. And we were gaining in our own deep third, and our only answer was to give it back to him. And we weren't doing it well. Also, the pitch was in a terrible condition, and we should have recognised that. So it's not an excuse. It's saying when you see someone like Michael Obafemi with his pacing behind and Zion Fleming, I thought we should have played it to the front a bit earlier. As much as Hull made the first half difficult for us and give them credit for their level of performance, we didn't make it easy for ourselves. A lot of the ideas we've been talking about consistently at the moment should have served us well, but we didn't get the right balance right. And then you saw in the second half when we're switching play more and we're hitting diagonal balls to like Danny McNamara, we're playing balls down the side for Tom Bradshaw. There has to be that variation in our game. We can't become a predictable passing team. Hello? Is that not your style? Is that not what you're telling them to do? The Millwall head coach was also asked if he was concerned by the teams below the lines picking up points. Well, I am. With relegation contenders Queen's Park Rangers and Huddersfield Town both winning this afternoon and leaving the Lions 5 points away from danger. He said, I haven't seen the other results, but every game is so tough. Before I was even in this division, but now I've been in it, you know how difficult every week is. We've got so much to focus on, but in our own performance, getting that consistency. But there's no point looking down or above. We just need to take it game by game, you know, and trying to get points on the board. By putting in more consistent performances at the moment, and that's where we're at. So I thought you wanted them to pass it around now, and then when they pass it around, they're saying, no, you're passing around too much. Joe Edwards explains the pre-planned centre-forward situation, how Millwall are dealing with the awkward fitness levels of Obafemi and Bradshaw. So yeah, this is what the story. I haven't read these before. I read them to you. I'll just read the headlines. I think, we'll put that on. So I think this explains why he was subbed off at half time, and hopefully it's not an injury. But Kevin Nisbet was injured. More on that later. This is from the southwarknews.co.uk. Kevin Nisbet missed the whole game with injury, while neither Tom Bradshaw and Michael Obafemi are at full fitness. Well, that's great, isn't it? Joe Edwards has revealed that one of his substitutions against Hull City was pre-planned as Millwall looked to handle the awkward fitness situation of their strikers. Michael Obafemi made his first start for the Lions but was replaced by Tom Bradshaw at half-time in a switch that Millwall had planned to make beforehand. Obafemi is low on minutes, having not played much football for parent club Burnley before arriving on loan at the Den last month. While Bradshaw is also battling back from a hamstring injury that he picked up in training. On top of all of this, the striker who started Mill's previous game against Preston North End, Kevin Nisbet, was ruled out of the whole clash with injury. Asked about his strikers after the 1-0 defeat, Edwards said, if you look at today, for example, the centre-forward situation, it was pre-planned that Michael and Tom would play half a game each. because they're both in that awkward position. Where Michael's played very little football for a very long time, and Tom's just come back from an injury, and they were both in that awkward position where they're both capable of more than 15, 20 minutes at the end. So I want to keep building them. But neither are ready to push past that today. They weren't ready to push past that mark where they get into fatigue state, where re-injury might come. So we made the decision beforehand, where the best decision would be to utilise a half each, just like a pre-season friendly. Isn't that great? You want to be. We're in February. We're in a relegation battle, and we're playing players like it's a pre-season friendly. And to be fair to Michael, that's the first game of football he's started in a long time. So it's a massive positive for us to get him starting a game and get that bulk of minutes under his belt. And as far as I'm aware, he's come through it fine. Was he at his sharpest and best? No, and I wouldn't expect him that with the running he's had in the last few months. But he'll be better for it. And add to that, in his defence, we did use him as well as we could have. No, we didn't. We didn't really look to the front at all in the first half. Yeah, too busy passing it around at the back. Which kind of begs, why didn't you start with Tom Bradshaw and then bring on Obafemi at half time? Because we played a lot better in the second half, and we spoke to them and said, "You're passing it around at the back too much. Can you stop doing that?" And then that's when you got Obafemi and his pace. But then Tom came on and he knows what that threat could have. So whether it's Michael starting and Tom off the bench or vice versa. And we keep building our idea as a team of how we use them. It's definitely positive signs to build on. Is it? Is it positive? I don't know. And now here we go. This is from the South London Press, londonnewsonline.co.uk. Millwall striker Kevin Nisbet suffers fairly significant hamstring injury. Millwall striker Kevin Nisbet is set to be sidelined for a sustained period due to a hamstring injury. Fantastic stuff there, fantastic stuff. So another hamstring injury, as you just read before. Tom Bradshaw's coming back from a hamstring injury, and now we have another player out with a hamstring injury. Begs the question, what are they doing down at Calmont Road? The Scottish striker, a summer signing from Hibernian, did not feature in today's 1-0 defeat at Hull City. Michael Obafemi, on loan from Burnley, started the championship match and made way for Tom Bradshaw, returning from a hamstring injury himself at the start of the second half. Nizzy's got a hamstring injury and it looks a fairly significant one, Edward told Millwall TV. He's going to see a specialist next week to get the full extent of the damage and exactly how long he'll be out for. He's definitely out for the foreseeable, so out for the rest of the season, out for 3 months. That would take him to May, so yeah, it looks like he's done for most of the season. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And obviously he's getting a fair bit of stick at the moment, but he's our joint top scorer. He scored 5 goals. Fleming scored 5 goals, and that's not good. That's not good because, as I said, we are in a relegation battle. How much so? Yes, here we go. This is the table. As you can see, we are in 16th place on 33 points. Alongside us on 33 points is Swansea and Blackburn. And on 32 points, there are 2 teams, Birmingham and Stoke. And on 31 points, Huddersfield Town. So as you can see, if you look at their form, the pretty colours on the right-hand side, their last 4 games have been 3 draws and a win. And Queen's Park Rangers, on 28 points, their last 3 games have been a win. What that was against us, a draw, and another win they won today. Next week, we play on Sunday against Coventry. You are in 7th, as you can see. They lost today and they got a red card, so that may be of some benefit to us. But it's a Sunday, 12. Is it 12 o'clock, 12:30 kickoff? I know it's at lunchtime. That means that's 5 o'clock on Saturday night. Next Saturday night, 5 o'clock. We could be in 21st position if the teams below us pick up points or win. Because as you can see, 17 and 18 are on the same points as us. Birmingham Stoke, although they've got negative goal difference, so they would need to win, which isn't that. That's probably unlikely because they would need to win to go to 35, because if they just drew, that would take them to 33. As I said, they've got a worse goal difference than us. So they won't. So realistically, we probably could drop down to 19th. And then we're back in the relegation scrap again. We have to pray and hope. I think Queen's Park Rangers Huddersfield smashed Sheffield Wednesday today. Yeah, they beat them. So Sheffield Wednesday are massively adrift. So we have to hope that the rumours of FFP, the Queen's Park Rangers, come true. And will we stay up on a technicality? Is that what we're heading for? I hope not, but I mean, bloody hell. We haven't won in 4 games. We got 1 point in 4 games. And now the guy's moaning about the players are passing it too much when that's what he wanted them to do. And now saying, "Oh, not like that. Not when it's not working. Don't do it when it's not working. Do it when it's fine. Don't do it." Yeah, it's all very bizarre, isn't it? It's very disjointed. And it's hard to get the rhythm flowing when you've got players keep getting injured and then coming back, and then it's all very bizarre. But hey ho, let's just have a look actually, if we can, not at that video, next week's. Obviously, I think there's cup games midweek as well. I don't know who is involved in the cup. As you can see there, Sunday the 11th, that's Millwall away at Coventry. So we've got Sheffield Wednesday at home to Birmingham. So that's on Friday. So that's 2 of the teams at the bottom. Sheffield Wednesday and Birmingham. So you think Birmingham might win that, so that drops us down because they'll be on 35. What have we got? Queen's Park Rangers versus Norwich. Well, that's a tough ask for them to win that. Blackburn and Stoke. So that's 2 of the teams at the bottom involved together. So one of them could win that, which would obviously drop one of them down and one of them up. So that will drop. That could drop us 2 places, like I said. So that will take us to 18th. And then who else have we got? We've got Southampton versus Huddersfield. You would think Southampton would win that, but Huddersfield, as I said, they're unbeaten in 4, so maybe a draw. I don't know. It's not looking good, is it? It's not looking good. And Hull versus Swansea. So Swansea have lost their last 3 games. So have Stoke. And now, obviously, if we do win next week, that doesn't do anything because we're 3 points adrift of Plymouth, and they have a game in hand. So we are very much in the zone of shit at the bottom. We're in this group. We can't get out of the group because we can't be consistent enough to get results strung together to get out of this group. And we are one of the 9 worst teams in the league. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.